All right. Aloha, everybody, and welcome to our Wellbeing Connection accountability call for today, for Thursday, July 20th. My name is Madeline, and I'm so happy to have you all here today for joining us. I'm grateful to be able to get to host this. If you don't know me, I am a physical therapist by training. So a lot of my education and inspiration comes from the human body. And in the process of healing, what happens for tissues to heal is they have to contract, which means they have to come together. So in order for something to heal, it needs to get closer and tighter and come together in order to repair. And for me, that's a beautiful example of why this container and this group is so valuable and so important, is because we get to take this time every week to come back together to help ourselves repair, regenerate, and encourage and inspire each other to keep going on these transformative journeys. So thank you for showing up and bringing your beautiful energy and sharing yourself and your stories today. This is a very safe place where we can open up and be supported by each other. So I'd like to just drop us into the moment and into our bodies. If you can just take a moment wherever you're at, if you're sitting, lying down, maybe you can close the eyes for a moment and just invite a few breaths into your body and just notice how it feels to fill yourself up from the inside out. Feeling that sweet exchange and reciprocity of the breath with your environment. One of the ways that we connect with our outside and we connect with each other is this beautiful tool of the breath. So just taking a few moments to tune into that. And just taking a quick scan, checking into your body and just noticing what sensations are present right here and right now. No need to judge or analyze or solve or fix anything, but just practicing that art of observation. In what ways is your body speaking with you right now? So often we tend to really tune in and hear those stories of pain. They speak really loudly. So in this practice, we're just dropping into maybe more silence, maybe that quiet whisper, listening to the ways that your body speaks and communicates with you, and just noticing. Deepening your relationship and your understanding of yourself by taking this time to tune in and listen to your body. Taking a few more breaths here. Just breathing into this moment. So happy that you're here now and we're all here together. So feel free to open your eyes, and I'd love to open the floor if anyone else would like to hop on and share. We like to start this call with some wins. So if there's anything in particular that you've been celebrating over the last week, this is a great place to open up and share that so we can all join in celebrating with you together. Anyone have any wins to share from the last week? Sapphire? Go for it. Can you unmute yourself? Awesome.
Yeah. Well, my win is winning the scholarship and learning all this and getting to be in this community and learning so much. I started just to connect. I hope this is okay, like to connect back to the last call. Like I started working as a teacher, teaching theater to like 4 to 10-year-olds. And I had like created this whole curriculum, like everything I was gonna say, like how I was gonna do it, and then you kind of just get in there and you have fun. So like, and you like lose the presentation mode and like just like and exactly what you guys were all saying last call, like about the care. is like someone sent me, like one of my friends where like the kids care how much you care. And so I'm celebrating all those wins. So yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm celebrating you, Sapphire. Thanks for stepping up and for applying for the scholarship. Like, that's so awesome. I'm so glad that you received that. And it's really nice to have you here, a part of our community. Like, one of the things that I found in this community is, and like what I see in that as you're showing up for these kids is like really building that confidence of tapping into that place that we want to express, that we want to share, that wants to be seen, because so many of us have like, covered it up and hidden it up, or told ourselves stories about why we don't want to expose that, vulnerability. And it's such a gift to be able to feel safe, to feel supported, to really shine, because that's when we all benefit. So I'm so stoked that you're able to support other people in that way. Where are you joining us from, Sapphire?
I live in the Poconos and I'm on my way back to the Poconos. I work in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Awesome. That's like a whole nother world for me. That's great. Yay. See, and that's the other thing I love about this community, just the way that it brings so many of us together from different places. And, I had shared in the last call too, this piece that I've really been working on. And one of the ways this community has supported me so much is not feeling alone and not feeling isolated. Sometimes in our healing journey in particular, we might not be in a supportive environment. We might not be in a place that's really conducive um, to our healing and to our transformation. This group is unique in what we're sharing and what we're offering. And yet, like, when we get off these calls, sometimes the person in the next room for us might be sharing a different story. So it's really helpful to have this opportunity to come together and to just keep encouraging and inspiring each other to get this different information that we can continue to gain and access to continue to grow. Yeah, it's amazing. So I'm really celebrating that, because in the last few weeks, as I've been tuning into these accountability calls, one thing that I keep hearing a lot of people share in their success and their wins is the ability to like stay calm in the face of chaos and of madness. Or something that's been coming up for me a lot this week was feeling like attacked and feeling blamed, like being, the finger being pointed at, and just not taking that on, just feeling like really clear and really confident in myself, and also compassionate, right? So instead of like creating more tension and resisting the finger pointing, just like embracing it with open arms and an open heart, and just feeling so much compassion for the pain that was coming. I knew it was coming from a place of pain, and it really didn't have to do with me, and how nurturing and loving and transformative that whole approach was. So I'm really grateful for this community for supporting my ways to be a little bit gentler in my responses rather than being so reactive, because that's something that's not easy for me and I'm working on. So thank you guys for your help. Does anyone else have a win to share? And if not, no worries. We're going to keep moving along then. And I'd like to reflect on the modules from this week. If folks were able to pull up these awesome modules that Rita developed for our Beauty Within call. So we have, or our Beauty Within program. So we have these different transform. Awesome, Christina, new brand partner this week. Way to go. That's huge. Congratulations. Just sharing the love and linking arms with more and more folks. That's what we love about these partnerships. And yeah, we're all good. No need to hop on the computer, and hope you can rest well today. Take time to rest and take care of yourself. So but yeah, so we're right now in the middle of our Beauty Within container. I think we're almost 2 months into, this is week 7, module 7. So nearly 2 months in, nearly 60 days into this 90-day transformative program, with our focus being Beauty Within right now, which has been a really sweet offering of showing, exposing, and opening up those places that might be tender or more vulnerable, and allowing ourselves to be seen and to feel safe in being seen in what we are. This module in particular this week, there's so much richness in it that Rita offers. And I'm wondering if anyone had anything in particular that spoke to them. I certainly had something that spoke to me that I wanted to share with you all. And it's this piece about unleashing your potential and the benefits of the whole brain activation. So this is a big deal to me because I am a neuro-focused therapist. So most of my training has come from neuro rehab, which the foundation of which is neuroplasticity, which is the fact, if you're not familiar with neuroplasticity, but it's essentially the fact that we're capable of change, that our brains are capable of change and our nervous systems are capable of change. This seems like common sense now, but is actually pretty miraculous. I have a gentleman I'm working with here. I live here in Hawaii, and I have a client of mine who was a surgeon 50 years ago. He worked in a laboratory at UCSF where neuroplasticity was discovered. And I'm like geeking out right now because this is such a big deal. He was actually in the process of inventing the cochlear implant. And the person who ran the lab, he was telling me, as they're doing these different experiments, they took out a piece of the brain that should be receiving hearing and receiving sound. And what they expected that these animals wouldn't be able to hear anymore. But what they found is that other parts of the brain were actually lighting up in response to the absence of this part of the brain. And that was a miracle. That was incredible. And that was only 50 years ago. So in the last 50 years, just having this idea, this fact that, oh my gosh, we're capable of change and the brain can grow and adapt. And the 3 main principles of neuroplasticity are the fact that we can stave off or limit disease progression. So when we're expected for things to degenerate, we expect things to degenerate over time, but we can actually influence that and limit the rate of progression. We can regain things that have been lost. And then we can also create alternative pathways. So even if we can't regain the same circuitry that's been lost, the brain is redundant and we have other options and we have other avenues to explore. So neuroplasticity to me is the science behind brain and nervous system health, is the same as what we use in regenerative health and the way we work with foods and regenerating our health and vitality in our bodies for all systems and not just the nervous system. So I am a big nerd and a big fan of neuroplasticity, and you guys all got my spiel. I'm wondering, does anybody else have any experience with neuroplasticity or anything to share in regards to that or anything else from the module 7?
I worked with eyes for over 20 years. And so, it's the same concept. It's amazing what can be done, you know, with our brains. So, and I have a nephew that he had seizures when he was newborn. And so they said half of his brain wouldn't make it and he wouldn't have autonomic motor skills. And so, he's still alive today and he's 22, 23 years old. And, he has a lot of issues, but they said he wouldn't be able to eat and breathe and things like that. But his brain, his body used his brain, his mind. I don't know how you want to say it. We're amazing beings, and our bodies are able to regenerate in ways that it's hard to understand given the information we've been given in our lifetime, I think. And so watching people's vision come back, or their body use different parts of the body to take up that sense, or hearing. I was worked right with hearing people a lot, and that plasticity is so delicate but yet resilient. And so that regeneration process is so amazing, um, and it really does make a difference on how the person really believes in that, and if they have conviction that their body's able to regenerate at that level, regardless of the words that are being used. It's a, I've recently looked at the word faith compared to conviction. So we can have faith in things and there still might be some questions, but if you're convicted in something, that's it. That's the final. So, having conviction and watching people thrive because they decide to, regardless of what the tools are that they have, they'll utilize them. And we have an amazing tool that we're using. I know I am. I am no longer wearing eyeglasses. And I was in eyes for over 20 years, and I've been retired for at least 10 years. So recently, in the last few months, I have now no longer need eyeglasses. And, using just something like the carrot juice plus has been amazing, adding that into my diet, and just living more intentionally, and loving myself has just been really amazing. But those synapses that are occurring that you're talking about are a huge part of that. And again, they're very fragile, but they're very resilient at the same time. So it's one of those fine wires to walk. But yeah, I think that these tools that we have of these beautiful foods have changed my life so amazingly that, I just want other people to be able to feel the way that I do. I was so tired of being tired, wanting just to go to bed all the time and sticking my head under the pillow because I couldn't handle the stress of the day, whether it be I need to do laundry or I have to drive to the grocery store, got to deal with people at work, whatever it might be, to, hey, I'm awake and it's early. The alarm didn't even go off and I'm ready to go. And then when it's time to go to bed, yeah, I'm tired, but I'm not at 3 o'clock going, I have to sleep now. I have to sleep now. So yeah, those are some really great wins, I think. And I think it correlates to what you're saying. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Shannon. I've been thinking of you because I've heard about your eye story, and then I realized that my eye prescription is like 2 years old. And so I'm like, oh, I need to go back in and I'd have to admit, I'm really curious to see, because I've been on this Purium journey for 2 years now. And I have a very, very low prescription. And every time I go, it's getting better and better. Like my vision has just been improving ever since I got away from textbooks and computer screens as a student for so long. I think that's what had altered my vision. And now that I actually get outside, one of the benefits of like getting away from books and screens is like get outside and looking in the distance more and taking all of that in. That's one of, when I moved to Hawaii, I started studying a lot of Chinese medicine and Qigong in particular. There's so many exercises you can do for the eyes, and again, like neuroplasticity, like regenerative health, regenerative medicine, it's like your body responds to the information and the education that you give it, right? And so when things aren't working well, instead of like taking this story that, oh my gosh, like I'm hopeless, which is kind of like there's nothing we can do about it. Sorry, that's just the way it is. I guess that's why I get so excited about neuroplasticity, because particularly in medicine, when individuals would have a stroke or something, they'd say, oh, you only have this amount of time to get better. And after that, don't expect anything to change. And it's like, when people would come in and say that their doctor said that to them, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's your indicator to find a new provider, because taking on that belief is not, for one, it's not true. And now we have science and evidence that's catching up with what has always been true all along, but we're able to prove it and demonstrate it now. But yeah, it's not true, and it's not helpful, right? Find someone that can help you where you're at and encourage you. So, my history comes from working with a lot of folks with Parkinson's disease over time. So that's how I got introduced to neuroplasticity and the power of neuroplasticity, because you have this neurodegenerative disease, that affects the basal ganglia, which is part of the deep nuclei in the brain. So it really affects everything. It affects emotion, it affects movement, it affects speaking, all systems are involved. And it can cause a lot of degradation and a lot of degeneration. And yet I was taught and I was introduced that there's so much we can do. So it's like when we are part of a community, when there, this is the power in numbers, when there's more people that we see who are positively responding, who are defying the odds, and when we ourselves can adapt that belief and take on that belief for ourselves and support others in that, right? That's part of what we're doing here in this group container, is just supporting and encouraging each other and speaking up and growing our numbers to show that you are not alone. This is not a fluke kind of mistake thing, that this is tried and true, and we just have to amplify our voices to generate a louder narrative than what we may have previously thought or believed in so many ways.
Yeah. And so I stopped doing what I was doing this many years ago, and now I've been doing Purium. I've been taking in Purium for over a year now, and I found it, and I had been looking for years and years and years for something, and I just kept saying, no, that's not it. No, that's not, it didn't even resonate with me most of the time. It wasn't even something I would even really consider, because I would look at the things that were in it and the people that were surrounding it, and it just didn't feel right. And this was like a no-brainer to me. When I started, I saw somebody, I said, what are you doing? I want to do what you're doing. And I don't care what it is, tell me and I'll do it. And so and then I found out it was so amazing, just this beautiful whole foods that are so nourish based. And so but I stopped doing what I was doing in the health field because I was no longer in the health field. People wanted me, I didn't work for myself, I worked for others, and they wanted me to sell things to people, and I wouldn't do it. That's why I left. I left because I wouldn't sell people things they didn't need. I was there to help them with their health because I loved and cared about them. And when this field became about money over, yes, we all deserve and are should be allowing of money to come to us freely. But when it's only about money, and that's what's more important than the people that you're dealing with and the love for them, then that's no longer something I could do. And it's across the board. It wasn't like one place. If I was going to go somewhere else, it was going to be very similar. And so I just decided that I could no longer do that. And my patients, of course, I helped them, or I still help them. A lot of them still follow me, but it's just that I could no longer serve them in the way that was appropriate. And I just think that we're here to serve each other in the way that we deserve to be served by others. And I watched the health system in the last 30 years, and it started long before that, but dissolve. And now I'm watching, that makes me cry, but now I'm watching people like ourselves with integrative medicine working hand in hand with the hospitals, with the medical doctors, that are now starting to feel like I was feeling, and able to work together and flip this around so that we're back to a care system not a sick care system. So I'm really excited about that. I think that it's amazing. And I thank you all for taking a journey and helping yourself and loving yourself enough to know that you're worthy enough to take these beautiful, amazing foods into your body to help the whole world.
Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, thank you for that beautiful share. I feel like I'm with you. This could be like, I often refer to myself as like a recovering healthcare professional because when you come at it really caring about people's health, and then like I said, in my experience, I was just confronted with the lack of hope and empowerment, just feeling like people were not given a lot of options. They were getting these prognoses that there wasn't a lot of hope for. It was like, well, best of luck for you, you're going to be suffering for the rest of your life or something like that. And I was like, what? No. There's so much more that's possible here. And I realized the constraints of our system, we might not be able to have the time or energy to explore that. And which is why I've had to go outside of the system to cultivate that for myself. But there's always options. We cannot lose hope. And we are so powerful and we are so capable. And we just need to be reminded of that, by coming together to remind, support, and encourage each other, because that's the sense I was getting is, and like what Michelle had referred to in our last call too, is like, we're giving our powers away. We're looking to an outside source to tell us what feels good for us and what should feel right. And these superfoods have given me my sense of self back. They've given me this relationship back to my own self, my own inner authority, really listening to my body, deepening that trust, regardless of what I look like on the outside. I can tell you, to me, that's what beauty within is really tapping into this beautiful piece of myself inside that was covered up and silenced for so long. And just, with the superfoods doing this gentle detoxing and really kind of clearing out the ugly, nasty, negative energy, the toxic relationships, and coming to a place of clarity, of confidence, of calm. I mean, that's my definition of beauty.
I love the clarity. I love the clarity of thought. Like the first just biomedic heavy metal loss in my body. Just that, wow. And waking up and feeling like I hadn't felt since I had to think back. Like, I don't remember feeling like this. When was the last time? And I had to think back to, like, it was before I was 7 years old since I had felt invigorated and alive and elated in the way that I did just doing the ULT. And not even, really just giving my body food that it could see, hear, smell, touch, taste, and devour and utilize. And it uses it, and it's I'm able to sleep fully, with an environment that's able to create melatonin. My skin is, the melanin, just from the tart cherry alone, the melanin in the skin. I haven't been getting out in the sun like I would like to. I'm Cherokee. Look at how white I am. These white people bleach us out, right? So, but but just the one component like made the sleep, and being able to sleep, being able to regenerate, like having that inflammation not be chronic just from tart cherry alone, if nothing else. No ibuprofen during the day. Like, I don't need that anymore. Because again, yeah, what did I need? I needed something that was just pushing the pain away and down for a little while, and then it would come back or damage. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, Graves, Sjogren's syndrome, RA, not particularly in that order. So, my symptoms started when I was like 7. So having pain and suffering I'm over 50 years old, for that long, for, for 40 years of my life is I had forgotten what it was like to not have that pain and suffering. And to not have it has just been such an amazing gift to me. I just think everybody involved in allowing us to have this available to us so readily, just right in the mail to my door.
I know it's such a huge blessing. I'm with you. And yeah, I feel like I could just go on and on about how much these superfoods have changed my life, which is why we have these calls every week, because this is just such a great place to be able to get to share your journey and your process. And you've heard from Shannon and I, who have both been on this journey for a while, right? It started with a 30-day, maybe 60, maybe 90-day, and it becomes a lifestyle. It really does. This community becomes family, because we're really all in it together. So I just really want to thank you all for showing up today for the accountability call. Thank you all for entrusting me to lead and to guide. This was
Can I ask a quick question?
yeah, of course.
Can I ask? Yeah, so how long, I know we're supposed to take the superfoods for about 3 months to start feeling a change.
Yeah.
So,
Or I wouldn't say to start feeling a change, but the 90-day is what we encourage to lean into for the commitment to see the lasting
okay.
changes. I'll put it that way.
Okay, and so my question is, does everybody really take, so say for instance, the berry, the collagen one, whatever that is,
Uh-huh.
say it says no, 4 tablespoons. I mean, does everybody actually take the actual amount, or does some people take maybe half that and still see a change? I mean, that's what I'm wondering.
That's
Because
a
you could go
great
through that stuff
question.
pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll say, like, for myself, I'm kind of heavy on my spoonfuls, so I probably do a little more than what the serving size says.
Okay.
But I would encourage at least doing the serving size. I tend to mix mine up personally. Like, I'll do like 3 tablespoons of Power Shake with two tablespoons of the dark berry, because I like that mix. Or I'll do 2 tablespoons of the Genius family. I like the chocolate, and I'll do 2 tablespoons of the dark berry. So still, that's a little bit more than one serving, but it just feels so good and tastes so good and nourishes me that I'm all for it. When I first started with Purium, I'll tell you, I didn't look at the label whatsoever. And I would do like about a teaspoon of Power Shake. And I was like, what is this junk? This isn't doing anything for, because I was used to other kinds of powders and things that you just do a little bit. And so I was like, oh yeah, but this is food. Pure, you're taking living dehydrated foods. And so you can't think of it like another powder, like another supplement. This is a meal, so just that 1 to 2 tablespoons. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of
Right,
my head.
right.
I'm sure it's equivalent to, like whatever 3 cups of an apple, or the equivalency of that. So there's a reason why they have that number of tablespoons in the serving size.
Okay.
I
Thank
do
you.
the same. I almost the exact same thing as you, Madeline. So I like the Power Shake. I do Power Shake for my first. Well, usually I'll eat some watermelon and then I eat the Power Shake, and it is really great if you can eat it. I found, if you're able to, like, almost like you're chewing it, because you will create more enzymes and things in your body to help it break down um, differently than if you just chug it. So if you
Yeah.
can take it in a little bit slower, and like you're eating a meal, because you're eating a meal. So, but I do like 3 tablespoons instead of the 5.5. I do 3 tablespoons of the green shake, but now I've gone through my ULT, mind you. So this is this is my daily thing.
Yeah.
So I do 3 tablespoons of the Power Shake and 2 of the collagen. And again, I'm probably a little bit heavy on those. And then, but I love how that it gets, if you do kind of chew it. And then the second one I do the family. And sometimes it depends on whether I'm wanting to gain weight or if I'm, liking my weight. If I'm wanting to gain some building, then I will use like a love meal mixed with that family, the chocolate. So I do.
So what's that? There's something that would help you gain? I want to gain.
But I would get through your 90-day
Oh, okay.
starting. So you want to, so that you can help your body to get back to a place of where we were talking about an environment that will be able to resonate the cells with the environment so that they're able to do like their best work. And they've compilated this particular scenario for a reason, as Madeline stated. So it's a really good idea to follow that because I've seen it proven too many times, like myself. Obviously they did research and there's a reason why they chose this. This isn't what they started with. They've been doing this for many, many years, 20 years, So, this is just the best situation they figured out. And I definitely, it works all together. So if you're able to do the full ultimate lifestyle transformation, I have seen that the results are generally going to be much heightened. Again, just like I said, the tart cherry, you've got your biomedic helping with the gut flora, and you've got your aminos. They're going to help with sustenance, basically feeling, satiated and having beautiful energy that your body is able to do on its own based on the environment you're providing with that. And then that green shake really is like eating, mini salads. So, and it's condensed. But and the great thing about the family is it has your fruits in it. And so just those are great if you can do that, that's amazing. But when you're doing the standard ultimate lifestyle transformation, that green shake has so much beautiful nutrition in it. It's really truly amazing.
Okay. Thank you.
And Renee, also connect with whoever first invited you here and who
Yeah.
because the super love meal is part of the ULT as well. And so if you just chat with them, because they probably have a better idea of like what's going on with your individual like health needs. But as far as since you expressed some wanting to gain some weight too, or muscle mass or whatever, check in with them. Maybe in the next month's order, you might want to sub out one of the power shakes or one of the dark berries for one of those super love meals.
Okay. Sounds cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for chiming in. Appreciate you speaking up and asking questions. and really appreciate all the engagement today. In respect to everyone's time, I am going to wrap up this call because it is a 30-minute call. So I'm so sorry that I have to run in the sun. The sun is getting me now. But again, thank you guys so much for showing up today. I really love this container. I really love this group. I really love the way that we're showing up to exchange ideas and just help to continue to support and uplift and inspire and encourage each other. So thank you. And hopefully I'll see you all next week as well. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Aloha.
Aloha.